Hey precious people. Hey precious people, how is everyone doing? I call everyone precious because every soul is precious in the hands of God. And there is a saying that a leader is born to lead. But the Holy Spirit is trying to tell me that a leader is not just born to lead. A leader is somebody that accepts the responsibility, that answers a calling. Because many people have been called, but few of them chose to answer the calling. A leader is somebody that agrees and said, okay, I will bear this cross. I will lead. I will be the one to stand in the gap. I will be the one to put a stop to this. I will be the one to start a new culture, a new tradition, a new way of life. That is a leader. A leader is somebody that says, I will be the one to spread this news. If I perish, I perish. Because they are always, leading in the forefront, and they were showing you by example what to do. I heard a story about a woman that was crying that her marriage is like hell for her because her husband refused her to work, to do anything, and things are really hard for them. But his pride, she feels, has refused him to let her work. And another man, a pastor this time around, that had to divorce from his wife. The quarreling, the fighting, the strife, the argument, it was too much that they had to separate. And he has to see his children during visitation once in a while. He doesn't see his children as often as he wants to, and he is in a very broken state. I want to tell us a story right now in the book of Genesis, and I want to use like the hero of our faith, Abraham, because the Bible said he calls those, he justifies those he calls. He doesn't call the justified. That means he calls the imperfect people, and then in their walk with him, he begins to make them perfect every day. God called Abraham, and Abraham's father Terah, they were in the city, and God told Abraham, he said, leave Terah, leave your family, and I want to take you to a land flowing with milk and honey. And we know the story of how Abraham had to leave, but then he left with Lot, which was not the original assignment God gave him, but that is a different story for another day. So Abraham left with Lot, with Lot and Sarah, his wife. Now Sarah was his half sister, like the Bible said, but Sarah was a beautiful lady. So Abraham set out and he told Sarah, he said, look, my wife, I want you to cover me because you are very beautiful, and I know that many people will want you. If they see that I'm your husband, they will kill me to take you, because them, from beginning of time, women have always been looked upon as possession, as like a harem. If I have this woman, I can boast, I can this, and Sarah agreed to cover her husband. She did not understand it, but she agreed to cover her husband, and as they continued this journey, they got to a city, and the Pharaoh saw Sarah, and he said, oh my God, this woman is beautiful. And he asked Abraham, who is this? And Abraham said, this is my sister. Like they had agreed. And Pharaoh Abimelech asked Sarah, who is this? He said, yeah, that is my brother. They had agreed from the beginning that this was the plan. Now remember that Abraham had to send who they call side chick, Hagar, away, and his son. But before he did that, he had to pray to God, because he refused doing this, because he told the wife, like, why do I have to do this? And Sarah said she has been disrespectful because she has a child and I don't have a child. She cannot share in the promises of God regarding your life. And Abraham said, do it however you wish. And Sarah said, send her away. When Abraham seeked the face of God, now this is one of the points we have to know. He seeked the face of God, and God said, okay, I want you to send him away. He is your seed, so nevertheless I will bless him. So Abraham listened to his wife, and then got a confirmation from God and sent Hagar and Ishmael away. But when it came for time to save his life, when he came for time when he felt like the world would be against him because he has a very beautiful wife, he did not seek the face of God. He used his own wisdom to save himself. And it is understandable, because being one of the heroes of our faith, he is not perfect. He is human, he is flesh and blood. And in your marriages, you will make mistake. Your husband will make mistake. Your wife will make mistake. There are times they will want to steer your marriage or your home into a direction or into a business that you don't want to do. Your husband might say, honey, let's go into this business. I hear it is lucrative. And the wife will be like, honey, if you go here, all our family savings will be gone. And sometimes you don't want to support him because you are thinking like, oh, this will ruin your family. But you support your husband, you support your spouse, and then you pray to God and you seek the face of God. So when Abraham went into this city, and then Abimelech took Sarah as his wife, as his concubine or whatever, but because of the goodness of his heart, because he actually believed that Sarah was Abraham's sister, God stopped him from sleeping with Sarah. Remember that Sarah had a covenant on her life that she will bear, the seed of Abraham, through which today we can say the threefold blessing, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So if Sarah had slept with Abimelech, there would have been disagreement. Scholars might argue today, how are you sure that Isaac is a promised child? How are you sure that he's not a child of Abimelech? So God made sure there will be no confusion in this blessing that he was about to pass down to his children. And God stopped every womb alive in the house of Abimelech. He told Abimelech, you are a dead man. No, Abimelech, you are a dead man. Abimelech said, what did I do, God? God said, because you have taken another man's wife, and a prophet's wife at that. So I want you to return that man's wife and ask the prophet to pray for you, and he will lift this siege of death and barrenness upon your home. So Abimelech called Abraham and said, what have you done? Why did you tell me she was your sister when she was your wife? And then Abraham said, oh, she's my sister, but she's my wife, but I was afraid, but this, but that. And then Abimelech had to settle this thing, had to give some gift item and, to appease Abraham. And Abraham prayed for him and lifted the death upon his family and the barrenness upon his family, upon his slaves and everybody. Now, Abraham journeyed. The lesson I want us to understand today in this is, in marriage is not a bed of roses, because you are two people coming together. You have, as a man, as a woman, you have your own trauma, your own pain, your own happiness. You have your own history and experience and your upbringing, and the other woman has her own. So you are joining your two worlds together. So it is not easy for you to say, okay, I'm going to do everything you want me to do, even as a woman. Or the man will say, oh, I'm going to listen to my wife's advice all the time. No, you will have to disagree. But as the man being the head of the family, the woman, like Sarah did, will, once in a while, chip in the advice to the husband and then go on her knees and also pray. And then the man also, which is very important, has to also pray and seek the face of God. Because many times, like our father Abraham did, tried to help himself with his own wisdom. He almost messed up the plan of God, but God stepped in. There are things that there are hindrances that we can bring to ourselves. There are hindrances that the enemy will bring to us. But one thing I know is, no matter the hindrance, if you have faith and trust in God, he will turn it around and make it to work out for your good. That is the mark of being a child of God. There are things that you will want to do that God is looking at you and say, if you take this route, it will not work out for you, but you believe it will work out for you, and you take that route. God will find a way to make it work out for you. There are, if I want to give example, I know of a woman that had so many hardship in her marriages, but God turned her life and blessed her. I know you and I, we know many people that even they get married, and at the end of the day, the marriage did not work out. But through counseling, through prayer, God brought the wife or the husband's heart back to the marriage. God helped them to grow as a family. Because one of the things that the enemy is fighting today is marriages. Because he knows that when he destroys marriages, he is destroying generations. Because in the family unit, where a husband and a wife is present, the children blossom. But where a man is there to do it alone, or a woman is doing it alone, or they are in a home, but there is so much turmoil, the children suffer. Two elephants fight, and the grasses suffer. So what is it that is going on in your marriage right now? Who is your husband? Who is your wife? For the single people, as you are looking for somebody to marry, you have to pray. Because whoever you entrust your life to in marriage, you entrust your destiny in. Samson went and married, not even married. You know what happened to Samson? He went and fell into the wrong hands, and it destroyed him. But God still showed mercy on the day that he was supposed to be killed, after they had plucked out his eyes. Abraham understood what marriage is, that he made his servant lay his hand on his lap and swear a covenant oath that he will not let his son Isaac marry any of these women here, that he will go to his people and seek out a godly wife. So you, my brothers, that is looking for a wife, are you looking at her beauty? Are you looking at how curvaceous her body is, or her pretty face? Are you looking at her beauty, or are you searching the content of her heart? Does the things she tell you align with the destiny that God has for you? But first of all, you also have to understand your destiny. As a sister, there's a man that God is bringing to you. You are looking at him because he doesn't have money, because he doesn't have what it takes, financial capability. But you see him, he is hardworking, he is steady and consistent. And that if you come into that marriage, you can also help him, and the two of you can grow your home. But you leave him and you got married the one that has 3 cars, the one that has flashy cars, the one that is in this country, in the other country. And then you enter into a marriage that you are pretty much alone, but you are in a marriage. You are married, but you are married, but you are single because you are not mingling with your spouse. Life and marriage is beyond material thing, is beyond beauty. You have to make sure that you marry somebody of your destiny. We celebrated Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, when she was WHO leader. I made a video something about it during Women's International Day. But I also had to make emphasis on her husband. Dr. Iweala is a man that many men should also strive to look up to, because he is a man that saw the wife that God gave him and he allowed her to blossom. Many women are in their marriages and their destiny has been shot because they married the man that was not for their destiny. Just like many men married women. I heard of a man that married a woman that destroyed his family, his relationship with his siblings, with his mom. She came in and turned everything upside down because she was just a trouble and a quarrelsome woman. One married a woman that he was always saving money, taking care of his property and his things. This woman wanted to spend. All she knew was spend, buy expensive this, expensive that. You are a frugal person. You got to marry somebody that likes to spend. How do you think the marriage will go? Every day you keep having knock ahead. We have to understand this thing called marriage. It's beyond I'm up to the age of marriage. I have to marry. Anybody I see, I will marry. No. Stay single and pray for the husband and the wife of your destiny. And for those of us that are married, understand that your partner is not your partner for life. It is for you to hide them. It's for you to cover them. It's for you, just like Sarah and Abraham. They had this kind of marriage covenant. They continue to cover everybody. When it was time for Abraham to send Hagar away, he stepped up to the plate. When it was time for Sarah to cover her husband, she stepped up to the plate. She was ready to make herself a side chick. That's what it pretty much. Our mother Sarah was ready to make herself a side chick for the king just to cover her husband. How many women can do it today? Even me, I don't know if I can do it though. I don't know if I can, as much as I love my husband to death. I don't know if I can do it. It takes you understanding the calling on your spouse's life and understanding that outside from your home, there is a destiny they have to fulfill outside your home. If their destiny is in your home, then let them fulfill it there. If they have something else to do outside, support your wife, support your husband. Because today we can say Abraham's blessings are mine. Abraham's blessings are mine. Somebody paid that price. Abraham was willing to carry the burden. So that seed will come through him. He was imperfect, but God made him perfect because his grace was there for him. And I want you to understand that there are things that will happen in your life. You will not understand it. But one prayer I want you to learn how to pray, that I also always pray, is this: God, I love you and I trust you. I don't understand what is going on in my life, in my marriage, but I trust that you have my best interest at heart, and at the end of the day you will turn it around and make it to work for my good. If we have this heart that God has our best interest, we will not rush into marriage. We will not rush into business plans. We will not rush into things. And if our adventure we rush into it, we go back to him and seek his face, and he will give us a way and an escape route out of that thing, and it will turn out for our good. Precious people, I hope this message has blessed you today. If it's your first time watching any of my videos, I welcome you. My name is Precious Mwadiaro. I'm a life coach. I coach on marriage, on relationship, on dating. The whole family unit is a calling from God. And many people send me inboxes and messages, and I tell them, go to my page, Precious People Relate, and book an appointment. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have a job also. My plate is so full, but because it's a calling from God, I find a way to make it possible. I cannot be answering 7 or 10 people's chats at the same time. Book an appointment. This way I know that this time is for you. We work at a time that works, and we can chat. If it's for a call, a voice call, we can do our Facebook voice calling if I think that client needs it. But that is what I do. It's a calling from me. Many people always want to send me messages all the time. No, I don't. It doesn't work like that. This is a calling. I want it to be, to be planned out. And I hope you will understand. I will see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. Bye for now.